Hello everyone! Thank you so much for tuning in to the January edition of Hennessy's Great Baking Show. My name is Hennessy Williams and I am your host for this show. I have a special YouTube show called Drag Queen Cooking and also a blog where I talk about all sorts of recipes that I try. Today I'm going to be doing a really cool recipe that I actually tried earlier in the week. It's absolutely amazing, super easy to make, and you probably actually have all of the ingredients, well maybe except for one. But that can easily be substituted right in your house right now. So I'm really excited to show you all this recipe that I have for you all, and I'll top it off with a delicious drink as well. So what are we making today? Today our recipe comes from this book I picked up. It's Mary Berry's Fast Cakes. Now, Mary Berry, for people that have watched the Great British Bake Off, is a guest judge. She's known for lots of delicious bakes and baking books. So this was the first book of hers I picked up. It's really interesting because all of these cakes are really easy to make and they're pretty fast. So it's definitely great if you're a beginner or you don't have too much time, or you're like, I just want something yummy in my mouth. Like, it doesn't have to have like, you know, whipped cream and a ganache on the top and like sprinkles and stuff like that. So this is really interesting. The cake that I'm going to be making for you all is really fascinating because I think in the States we hear a lot about apple pie, and I've actually never had a good apple pie because I haven't made one yet. But I've actually never made an apple pie, but I have made easy apple cake. So this is an apple cake. It's not a pie. It's super easy, and I'll go ahead and tell you all the ingredients that you all need for it now. You're gonna need 9 ounces of apples, which comes out to about 2 large apples. You're gonna need 1 1/4 cup of self-rising flour. That's made with flour, salt, and baking powder, and I'll show you all how to do that in a little bit. You're gonna need some sugar, super fine sugar especially. You're gonna need 2 large eggs. You're gonna need 1/2 teaspoon of almond extract, and it'll also be nice if you have heavy creams because this cake, it's delicious and moist, but crispy and simple. It just works really well with some delicious whipped cream. So you're gonna want to make that at the end as well. This does have a baking time of 1 hour and 15 minutes. So while this is really easy to make, it's gonna be a while. If you're making this cake with me in real time while I'm making it in my pre-recorded kitchen, because I don't know if I can keep you all entertained for 1 hour and 15 minutes after I show you all how to make the cake. Where was I going with that train of thought? Anyway, the cake is super worth it. So I'm going to be showing you all how I make this, and then we're going to be skipping to the end where I will go ahead and make the drink and do the taste test for you all. So first thing you're going to want to do is to preheat your oven to 350 degrees. And let me actually show you all the tools that you'll need as well. Okay, so you're going to need an 8-inch baking pan. So this can be a springform pan, or it can just be something like this. And to make sure that the cake doesn't stick, because it's a super sticky batter, you're going to want to have parchment paper and have something sharp like a pair of scissors to go ahead and cut around over here. You're going to want to have also a peeler, preferably something good so that you can peel apples really easily. And something that you're definitely going to want is you're going to want a spoon to stir the mixture, of course, and of course measuring cups. But you really want to have a silicone scraper because, again, this batter is so sticky that I made the mistake the first time of getting my hands into it. I had to get my partner to scrape the mixture off of my hands so that there would be enough to use. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Hi everyone, so I'm bringing you all up close over here because I want to make sure to be safe. A lot of times I have like a little, table stacked with a bunch of books so that you all can see me, but I don't want something to slip, and with like a knife this sharp I don't want to accidentally hurt myself. The amount of apples you use, or the size doesn't really matter as long as in the end it all becomes 9 ounces. And you want to make sure that it's more or less accurate, because if not, the cake might not bake in time if you have too much, or it might be too dry if it's too little. So after you peel it and after you cut it, you're going to want to use like a small scale like this to make sure that it is 9 ounces. So I'm going to go over now with my special peeler. We're gonna go peel these apples. You want these to be really thin slices. Okay, so that's not too bad. Yeah, like a pretty thin slice here. This looks so good, I just want to eat it. I think I'll eat some apples if I have extra. Okay, we are at 8.4, 8.5, 8.6. So I think after I maybe cut this part, I'll be 9. Okay, sweet. Good. So we're gonna take all of this over here, and we're gonna soak it in the water for as long as it takes for us to do the next part. You wanna get it nice and soft. And then, basically, you just dry it off later with paper towels, and then you just, you know, fold it into your cake. Alright everyone, so bringing you back to center, we're gonna go ahead and make the batter. Super easy to make, honestly like the easiest batter I've ever made. So that's why I recommend this recipe. It's great for beginners. Honestly, if you've never baked before and you have all the ingredients, I really encourage you all to try it. I actually have a blog post with all of the instructions as well, so even if you're not ready to bake it today, if you check out the blog post and get the ingredients later, you're going to be good. And all of these things can be found at pretty much your typical Safeway, Lucky's, what have you. So because this is a British recipe, and I have quite a few books from like European bakers and British bakers now, I kind of started to notice these things other than obviously the metric system. One thing is they often use this thing called, I have to go check, self-rising flour. They have this thing called self-rising flour. Now that sounds really fancy, like what the heck is it? All it literally is flour that has been pre-mixed with baking powder and salt. So that's all it is. Really, it's just taking out those extra 2 steps. I don't really know if these British bakers kind of just make it themselves and store it, or if they actually, whatchamacallit, buy it from like a special place that sells self-rising flour. But who knows, I don't have it, so what I'm going to go ahead is we're going to go make it together so that we can use self-rising flour for this recipe. So again, that's super easy. So I have my regular all-purpose flour here. So we're just going to take 1 cup of this, and then we're going to add everything else. And I think I'm actually going to make 2 cups worth. It's what I pretty much do. And then I go ahead and I put it in my little, I don't even know what this is. It's this cute little porcelain container I have, and it's just perfect for keeping flour. I had self-rising flour in here before, but then I used it all, so we're gonna make some more. So yeah, let's go ahead and make 2 cups of self-rising flour. Let's go ahead and take, this is broken by the way. It used to have like a, you know, a handle, but then it broke in the micro. No, it broke in the dishwasher, and I am not a believer of buying the fanciest things all the time because sometimes you don't need it, but sometimes you do see where that extra money goes, because this didn't happen with my Cuisinart, you know, thingies, with my Cuisinart measuring cups, but it did happen with these. Okay, so that's 1 cup. All right, let's do another cup. And then you're going to use the baking powder over here. Okay, so that was 3 teaspoons, and now we're going to do half a teaspoon of salt over here. Okay, so then you whisk it together. I don't have a whisk with me right now. I think it's okay for me to use this silicone spatula. Okay, I'm going to take this scraper and just carefully. There we go. There we go. I'm gonna use a little bit more. Okay. So again, if you all are interested in baking and want to check out other UK recipes where they might say self-rising flour, or honestly, if you look at a regular recipe and it just says that you need like 1, actually I guess it doesn't work. Never mind. If you ever use recipes that say self-rising flour, you might as well make an extra batch of it, because that's going to be really helpful and convenient for you. You need 3 out of 4 cups of super fine sugar. So This is superfine sugar, also known as baker's sugar. So if you don't have superfine or baker's sugar, literally it's so simple. You just need to get your food processor, and it's a really great investment if you like baking or making food in general. Just get your food processor and just swirl the sugar in here, chop it all up for about 30 seconds, and then that will make the granulated sugar even more fine, and it's really great for baking. Oh, it's getting hot. And then all you need to do now is you add 2 eggs, and that's what makes it really sticky. And again, this recipe is really easy. You don't need to separate the yolks or anything. Okay, so your 2 large eggs. Here's are my jumbo grade 8 eggs. So I'm just gonna go. There was surprisingly no eggshell. It was just a really messy crack. Okay, so a lot of times this is where you want to whisk it together, but this is so like sticky that I would say honestly just start with this silicone spatula. Really quick before I get to finish it off, you're gonna need half a teaspoon of almond extract. This is honestly the magic in the recipe. So if you don't have almond extract, you can use vanilla extract. It's gonna taste different, but it's still gonna be delicious. But it's really interesting because I swear almost all American recipes will use vanilla extract, and this one uses almond extract. The almond just goes so well with the apple, and it just is really perfect. So I love that this recipe uses almond extract. I love the flavor of almonds, period, so it's really cool to me. That smell is coming up. It's a smell of almonds. I love it. And the batter turns really bright yellow because of all of the eggs that's in it. Oh my god! I broke my spatula. Wow, okay, finish your drinks, everyone. Oh, Lord have mercy. Yeah, so the wood part is broken because I guess I used this. This is why you don't buy cheap things, people. I'm blaming on myself. Okay, so luckily, I have another one. Now what you do is you put in half of it in here, you add the apples once they're all dried, and then you put the other half of the batter on top. Now I didn't do this earlier, so I'm gonna go ahead and do it now. I'm gonna take your parchment paper over here. I guess you all can't see over here, but one second. Okay, so I'm kind of flattening it against the pan, like so. And you take a sharp object. This is my easy way. The other way is to kind of take a pencil and draw around it, or you could just kind of like eyeball it. What I do is basically use the sharp object like the scissors to cut the paper and to trace an outline around the pan, so what isn't cut you can just cut along that edge. Here's my little disc. It doesn't fit perfectly, but it will be fine. And so now what I do is just take a giant glob of this, and it's gonna be really hard to spread. That's the one thing with this batter, because there's like no butter, there's no milk. It's just eggs, almond, sugar, and flour. So, okay, so yeah. Okay, alrighty, so I've done my best here. Still kind of trying to spread it out. But it's kind of now like spread out even though it's not fully touching the edges of the pan. So now we're gonna take our apples that have been soaking, and you're gonna want to drain them. So I'm actually gonna grab my blender here. I'm gonna take this and go ahead and drain it all over here. Okay, and then I'm going to take these paper towels. Woo! Okay. So I'm gonna take this pan and, oops, it's like still dripping, this water, and I'm just gonna make sure that it's all as dry as it can be. And again, it doesn't have to be perfect. I pretty much just quickly kind of just rub them with a paper towel. I did it the first time, and really that should be fine. You just don't want it to be like sopping wet. So after that, you take that and you kind of just like neatly display it on your pie plate over here. So that's what you do. Yep. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm trying to like do this in a way that you all can see it. There's like not enough room. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and line my pie plate with these apples. Actually, I think what I'm gonna do is push this over here, have the apples here, and then you all can, yeah, glance at this here. Let me spread this out. Okay. So yeah, you're gonna take the rest of this thing here and you're gonna spread it over. And now Mary Berry says it's not gonna be easy to spread. She luckily did acknowledge that, because I was like, did I do something wrong? But she says it's okay if it's not perfect, and it's okay if the apples are peeking through. And I find out the reason why is because it kind of just like all meshes together, and it just ends up being very beautiful and browned in the end. Again, like everything just kind of spreads. But I think this is about as good as I can do. Now, all of the batter is gone. I can at least say that because, okay, I was literally like washing batter off my hands the first time I made this. So everyone, we're going to put this in the oven for 1 hour and 15 minutes. And again, I would say it is a long time, but the reason why is because this cake is so wet. The batter is wet. And apples, anything with fruit, it's just gonna have to bake longer. So just trust in the system. We're gonna be back in 1 hour and 15 minutes. The cake's gonna rise, it's gonna be beautiful. I hope it's beautiful. And we're gonna go ahead and see. All right, everyone, the lovely cake is almost ready. I'm really excited. In 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so you want to bake it for 1 hour and 15, but if it's not browning around the middle, then you can leave it in for maybe like 10 minutes longer. It's kind of browned quite a bit at the top over here, so I'm going to let it rest for 15 minutes. Anyway, what we're going to do now while we wait for this to cool for 15 minutes, because it is really hot, is we're going to make the whipped cream, because this cake is still really dry and we want to make the whipped cream so it's as delicious as possible. By the way, do you like my outfit? It's giving me very like Berkeley professor vibes. Like, I do yoga, I collect like, you know, crystals. I'm very connected to my chakra. Giving me like, you know, like white Latina from the 70s or 80s, or, you know, like Texas housewife, white Texas housewife who's married to like a Mexican man realness. That's what it's giving me. Oh, Edgar, can you catch? Thank you so much. Okay, so what we're gonna do now is we're gonna make the whipped cream. So I'm gonna grab a new container right over here. Let's do this. And I'm gonna do this over with a hand mixer. So whipped cream is actually really easy to make. Everyone should make it. And when you make fresh whipped cream, it is so much different than the whipped cream in a shaker bottle you get. It's just a world of difference. It's amazing. So I'm going to be using this recipe from Sally's Baking Addiction. You just need 1 cup of heavy cream, 2 tablespoons of confectioner sugar. If you don't have confectioner sugar, granular sugar is also okay. And then a ½ teaspoon of vanilla extract. So I'm going to go ahead and grab those ingredients right over here. Pull out this fresh thing right over here. Woo! Wow, that got on me, and that got on the on my cupboards over here. Wow, that's crazy. Okay, okay, I'm gonna pour this over here. That's 1 cup. Here's my confectioner sugar. It's very similar to powdered sugar. I think the difference is pretty more or less like minimal. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. I actually want to try making it with almond extract instead, because since we use that on the cake, it'd be interesting to try it with a whipped cream that's similar. That smells amazing again. So, alright, we have all of the ingredients here. Now all I need to do is basically you just take your hand mixer and then you basically keep it on medium-high speed until medium peaks form, about 3 to 4 minutes. I think I'm just gonna look at this over here and wait for the time to go down on medium-high speed, so here we go. And then when I lift out like this, there's these kind of like, yeah, these soft peaks where it stays together. So I'm just gonna do a little bit more and then we're pretty much good to go. We have about 5 minutes left on the clock. So I'm gonna grab the whipped cream that's now been sitting here getting nice and cold. Okay, so we're gonna take this whipped cream and we're just gonna put it on top in between these two lovely pie pieces. Yes. Okay, so all right, cheers. Now let's go ahead and try it. I'm gonna go into, okay. Oh my god, wow. That is delicious. Okay, so, okay, orgasm moment. Okay, the whipped cream is so good because I put almond instead of, vanilla. This is delicious. Oh my god. Okay, this is the, like, probably the best thing I've tasted in my time of doing these episodes. I mean, the bouche de Noël was really good, but it was kind of what I expected, and this is, like, really amazing. And even though I kind of had trouble with the batter, yeah, it's just amazing. So thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.